For the past few months, I've been collecting every silent keyboard I could find because no one wants to be the loud keyboard guy, or keyboard girl in this case. So if you've been annoying your coworkers or your significant other with your loud typing, this could be the video that you need. Luckily, I've got some great silent keyboards, so maybe people will finally stop avoiding you at the office. Okay, this first one is a full-ish size keyboard called the MCHOSE UT98, and it's a great option if you're part of the numpad supremacy crew. This is actually a keyboard made in collaboration with the YouTube channel Unbox Therapy, which I think is pretty cool. It actually looks pretty good. Maybe I should do a collab product someday. What do you think about that? But I was honestly pretty skeptical of it at first because most collab products are a little sketchy. However, this thing surprised me. First and foremost, it delivers on the silent part. Ooh. It has the Otomu Silent Peach V3 switches, which most people often consider it the best value silent switch right now. On a side note, if you don't want to buy a whole new silent keyboard, you could swap out your switches for something silent, and then these Otomu Silent Peaches are a pretty cost-effective way to do it. You can get a pack of 90 for like $20 on Amazon, pop them in, and you're good to go. They're considered the best value silent switch because we don't like wasting money around here unless it's funny or I'm making a stupid mistake, then, you know, we spend some money. But the overall build of the UT98 is really nice. It has a metal volume scroll on the right, and it looks great above this little RGB strip above it as well. It has a nice knurled feeling, and it just feels right, you know? But as a bonus, you get the big enter key on the numpad, which is a huge plus since you don't have to contort your thumb like you do when you have a small zero. When keyboards do that, it's been a pet peeve of mine lately. I also like that it comes in two colors. One that sort of looks Halloween themed, which I don't like, but the other, which is this one, is black and white. They have the custom Unbox Therapy keycaps, such as a hat escape key and their special font too. The spacebar also has the logo on it, but not this one. Now, if you're not a huge fan of Unbox Therapy, you can swap out to the spacebar that's plain that comes in the box like this one. But out of all the normal mechanical keyboards, the tall ones, this one is the most silent overall, which is saying a lot. But there are some not so nice bits about this keyboard too. For one, the price. It's $139. Yeah, that's a big So for most keyboards with similar construction, you know, in a plastic case, you're usually looking around the $85 to $100 mark. But it makes up for the higher price by actually having really good software, so that's a bonus. However, it may feel a little strange using this if you're coming from a proper full-size keyboard, since you only get the delete key and the calculator key. What? I gotta say that's a little unhinged for putting it there, but I respect the decision. So the home and the page up and page down are over the numpad, so the placements of all those things might throw you off before you get used to it. You can change these key placements with the MCHOSE Hub browser software, which is nice. I like the browser software. Good job. But for reference, you could really just pick up an Ala F108, you throw in the exact same silent switch, and you come out ahead on the price. So I have to say the Unbox Therapy keyboard actually goes pretty hard, and I think they may have accidentally made one of the best silent mechanical keyboards on the market, even if there are some options that do sound and feel better. Silent. Ooh. So this next keyboard comes in at a similar price to the UT98, the Varnilo Minilo. Man, that just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? And let me preface this by saying it's my favorite silent keyboard to actually type on. So the Minilo comes in two sizes, 96%, a bigger one, or 75. And one thing you'll notice when typing on it is that it's a little louder than the UT98, but it sounds better. The UT98 has a more muted noise, so if you care purely about how quiet your keyboard is, it may be a better option. Although I will say it does feel a little more rubbery to type on, while the Varnilo Minilo has a bouncier and more satisfying sound. It's like a silent poppy noise, if that's even possible. It's like a bare... I don't know. One thing I will say though, sometimes when buying a silent mechanical keyboard is that the bottom out sound can feel rubbery and squishy, and you might as well go for a membrane keyboard. But that was more a problem of the past. This doesn't have that problem. I think the improved sound and feel come down to a couple things, such as the different switch choice, going for the Prestige Silent instead of the Onamu Silent Peach, and the fact that the gasket mount on it is a little squishier and better implemented. This makes the keyboard feel bouncier when typing, so you're not slamming your fingers down against a hard surface. Now I know it sounds silly talking about the sound so much when you want a quiet keyboard, but if you end up using a keyboard every day for 8 hours a day, the minor annoyances can start to stack up. The overall build of the keyboard is super simple. It does come in a variety of pastel and cream colors as well. You got tri-mode wireless, so you got wired Bluetooth and 2.4G. Plus, it comes with VIA, the open source browser-based software. It's simple, it's stylish, and it definitely delivers my favorite typing experience out of all the options. You just have to be willing to drop $150 on it. Man, another expensive option. That is pricey.
You know how I'm always trying to optimize my desk setup to make it as functional as possible? Well, I realized I've been overlooking something I use every single day, my car. That's where today's sponsor LastFit comes in. LastFit makes floor mats that protect your car from pretty much anything, whether it's dust, mud, rain, or even dog hair. And they're easy to clean, which is super convenient for people with busy schedules. Between commuting every day, picking up the kids, and going out and having fun on the weekends, your car gets dirty quickly, and you probably don't have a ton of time to clean it. So having mats that are super easy to wipe down is a huge bonus. They're built to last a lot longer than normal mats. They're made of something called TPE, so you won't see those nasty splits or curling edges that rubber mats get after a while. And on hot days, you won't get that nasty rubber smell either. Did I mention that the floor mats are also reusable and recyclable? So you're not just tossing them into a landfill someday. They can be melted down and turned into something else. But for me, the real game changer was getting the trunk mat. Before, dirt and dog hair would get stuck in the fabric and it was almost impossible to clean. But now, it's so nice. To get one for yourself, all you have to do is choose your car model, and LastFit has mats ready to go, made to fit perfectly. It even had the same slot so I could latch it in. Make sure to check out LastFit in the description below. They're celebrating their 8th anniversary, and use the discount code LANS20 or LANS20 to get 20% off.
Speaking of pricey, this next one is a little bit more friendly on the wallet. In fact, it's the cheapest option on the list today. And this is the GamaKay TK75 V2, coming in $80. It's nearly half the price of the previous two options. Not bad, right? But are you making a ton of sacrifices by going this cheap? Well, out of the box, it looks pretty good, albeit a little more gamery than the other options. And it doesn't look like the build quality is that much worse. It also has a plastic construction, but it doesn't feel as cohesive as the other ones. I will say the tritone keycaps it comes with are pretty fun, and you get a knob on the top right for controlling the volume levels, along with an RGB strip for you gamers out there, and a small screen on the bottom right, all of which are really nice if there's something you're specifically looking for. Now, from my experience, when you add a screen, instead of being a browser-based software, now you're gonna have to download some sketchy looking software onto your PC, and yeah. So what separates this from the other options is that it comes with a silent tactile switch. The other ones so far have been linear, smooth, but this one has a bump. So if you're into that tactile feel, it could be a great fit for you. Although it does feel a little more shaky and rattly when typing on it, I would say this has the worst sound and feel so far. Now it could be because of the cheaper construction, or the fact that it's tactile, or that it's pretty tall keyboard. So like the other options, you do get tri-mode wireless, so you can connect in any way that tickles your fancy. But if you're on a budget and you want something silent and pre-built, this could be the way to go. Although I will say that when this one arrived, the H key didn't work, so order it off of Amazon or somewhere with easy returns, because you may run into issues like I did. So before moving on to some thinner, low profile options, there is one more fun keyboard that I want to mention. Now this one isn't technically a silent keyboard or even mechanical, but since it is decently quiet, I wanted to mention it. It's a deep cut OG keyboard, if you will. This is the Topre Realforce. It's an electrocapacitive board. These are very expensive because they are manufactured in Japan, and they cost about $250, but they're a lot of fun to type on and a lot of fun to know about. They have a tactile bottom mount, and many people really like the feel of them, especially once you lube them. I really like the overall aesthetic of these, and I think they're a cool option. They're just not really accessible level because of the high price tag. However, it holds a special place as a fun and unique keyboard to type on. It's not as silent as these guys. The spacebar is pretty loud for some reason, but it's quieter than a normal mechanical keyboard. So this next one is also not technically mechanical as well, but I wanted to include it because, well, it is silent. And if you're looking for silent, you might want to consider it. It's the Logitech MX Keys S, which does not stand for small. You see, one thing that you should know is that the thinner a keyboard is, the quieter they tend to be. That's because the keys don't travel as far or hit as hard when you're typing, so they produce less noise. Now, I think I just made that up on the spot. And there's no keyboard out there that's thinner than this one. So even though it doesn't have a silent switch, it's still really quiet. It has something called scissor switches, which are common in most laptops. While it doesn't have the same appeal of a proper mechanical keyboard, it does have some really nice features that you shouldn't overlook either. It's silent, right? It's pretty quiet. For one, it's a proper full-size keyboard with everything you could possibly want. So there's no weird 96% layout going on with keys and locations you're not used to. Not to mention, it comes with a lot of the benefits of having a Logitech keyboard, such as the great battery life, the super stable connectivity through their 2.4 gigahertz dongle, and the backlit keycaps. I wish more companies would do this, but Logitech gets the backlight so well. The keycaps also have these little dimples on them. They're sort of cute. They make it easy for your fingers to slot in when you're typing, and it can reduce mistakes. Plus, it has a sensor that wakes up your keyboard as you bring your hands closer, so you don't have to tap on your keyboard and wait for it to wake up. It's pretty cool. But the downsides are pretty intense too. For one, again, the price. It's $130. It's not even mechanical. Plus, it's all black, which is great for an office environment if you're into that. But it's pretty boring overall, and it doesn't have any unique appeal. And the Logi options software is a little lacking too. The only keys you can remap are the function row. But if you want my favorite low-profile silent keyboard, look no farther. Two different silent options recently came out, the Lofree Flow 2 and the Nuphy Air 75 V2, and I was pumped for both of them. But only one of them really came out ahead, the Nuphy Air 75 V3. This keyboard is really the whole package when it comes to low-profile keyboards. It's been my daily driver for the past month or so. It has a fantastic typing experience. It's bouncy and silent while still feeling and sounding great. It also has a customizable design where you can choose between a low-profile knob, a high-profile knob, or just swap it out for a normal key. Ooh, tactile. It's actually pretty fun customizing it to your preferences. You can remap everything easily using the Nuphy IO software, which is browser-based, so you can place anything wherever you want, the delete key and whatever calculator if you want. Not to mention, this board has a nice aluminum top case. It feels a little bit upscale than all these ones here. It's got RGB on the sides here and also I think down here, and they're all customizable in the software. And like a lot of the other options on this list, it can do a wired 2.4 or Bluetooth, so you got all your bases covered. Plus, it actually has a silent switch, the Blush Nano, so you can get it silent and ready to go without having to tinker with it. Now for the not so great part again, and that's the price. Okay, so I've been actually saying that a lot. For some reason, all of these silent keyboards all cost about $140 to $150, which is a lot for a keyboard. I get it. I do wish they had some more size options, since not everyone wants a 75% small keyboard, so at some point I hope they just release full-size versions. That would be cool. But I would say the sound and feel of the Air 75 V2 is similar to the Varnilo Minilo. It has a silent and poppy feel, but since it's thinner, it ends up being a little quieter at the end of the day. And the fact that it's low profile makes it more portable, so if you like to go to coffee shops and work somewhere else for the day, you can throw this in your backpack and be on your merry way. It's just not for everyone, since the layout is small. Yeah, it's small.
Thanks to LastFit for sponsoring this video. To get one, go to the link in the description below and find your car model. Use the discount code LANS20 to get 20% off. Thanks for watching.
If you like this video and you just realized you don't actually care if your keyboard is silent, check out the best keyboards at every price point right here.